Jamshedpur, India's first planned industrial city, also famously known as Tata Nagar, named after the city's legendary founder Jamshedji Nusarwanji Tata. Located just 130 kilometers away from Jharkhand's capital Ranchi, this city is home to many industries, from iron and steel to cement, from truck manufacturing to tinplate production, and even handlooms and handicraft. They are all made right here. Situated in the heart of this city is India's iconic steel and iron factory owned by Tata Steel. And it is surrounded by many other major factories like those of Tata Motors, Lafarge Cements, ABB, Larsen & Toubro and Usha Martin. And supporting these big factories are over 1200 small and medium enterprises, mostly situated in one of the biggest industrial hubs in Asia, the Adityapur Industrial Estate. We decided to pay a visit to this bustling industrial area to witness how these smaller factories make the wheels turn. Our first stop was Aarush Metal Castings, a foundry where metals are cast into shapes by melting them into liquid. The metal is then poured into a mold and removed after it has solidified while cooling, giving us these castings, a crucial component in making the cars that we drive every day. As we spent time in this bustling factory, we realized that the heat wasn't just from its furnaces, but also from the burning ambition of its young promoter Sanjay Sabharwal, an electrical engineer from BITS Pilani who came to Jamshedpur over 20 years ago to start his dream venture.
Well, I actually came here after I finished my engineering. I got a job offer and I came to work for the Tatas. And I really wanted to set up my own business. That was the defining goal of my life. Not being from a business family, that was difficult. However, I got a right break and I started a small trading company, and thereafter Tata Motors was looking for engineers to set up CNC shops. And I was fortunate enough to be called by them and said, well, are you interested? So we were interested and we worked very hard, like I think most people do, and grew multifolds.
Sanjay started his career as an entrepreneur with a company called Metaldyne, and while the company grew, it was not all smooth sailing. He hit his first roadblock when he needed funds to expand. Funds no one was willing to give, and ultimately Sanjay had to sell his stake to fund his expansion plans.
I had nothing, so I had to leverage my company and became a minority shareholder. However, I run the business.
But this initial setback did not dampen Sanjay's entrepreneurial spirit. Soon he was on his way to setting up Aarush Metal Castings, a business that provides backward integration with Metaldyne.
All auto. We don't. Tata? Not Tata. We make for Tata. We make for Volvo. We make for Ford. We make for Cummins. For all automobile major companies world over we make. All these are exported.
Aarush Metal Castings today manufactures products such as flywheels, gearboxes and other engine parts, all used in various automobiles. It has a total capacity to produce 1,000 tons of finished products per month and has an impressive client list which includes Tata Motors, Ford, Volvo and Cummins. It exports 60% of its total production. But Sanjay's dreams are even bigger. He now plans to diversify into the non-automotive segment. In fact, Aarush is already in the testing stage of a new design for a manhole cover for a company based in the Middle East. But for these big dreams to become reality, Sanjay realizes he has to keep his expectations grounded. And with the experience of running a business in his arsenal, he now hopes for a push for smoother processes and easier funding.
I had the courage of the inexperienced. I never realized how difficult it would be to set up your own business. I was very focused, but the difficulties were so enormous for a first generation business person that it's frightening. Starting a business is difficult as it is because you got to choose a market, a product and make it happen. But the infrastructure support about 20 years back was so not available. It took us 3 years to get a phone connection. Nobody would give you a loan because you didn't have experience. How is a first generation business person supposed to happen? So every step, understanding regulatory authorities, understanding the tax regimes, and they were much more complicated 20 years back, 25 years back. Not that they are simpler now, but comparatively simpler. We have a long way to go.
With the smell of molten steel from Arush metal still solidly in our senses, we decided to move ahead in our journey of exploring Jamshedpur. That's when we were suddenly greeted by a pleasant fragrance, that of roses. A quick vote and our crew decided it was time for a refreshing break. We set out for a small walk to stretch our tired legs, only to realize that this was no ordinary rose patch. We had stumbled into the backyard of yet another factory, one that manufactures handmade organic soaps, and this rose garden was where they sourced the flowers from. Welcome to Neve Herbal Handmade Soaps, set up by two first-generation entrepreneurs, Anurag and Shikha Jain, engineers by qualification and social entrepreneurs by passion. They work with the tribal community of the village Hurlung in Jamshedpur and even run a school.
We started this project as a hobby. We wanted to prepare something which is absolutely environmental friendly, and we found that since soap and paper are very polluting to the environment, so we wanted to make a natural soap. And with the teachers of our school, we started it as our hobby, and then we gave the samples to our friends, and our friends liked it a lot. We were running around 15 self-help groups of women, and they wanted to do something for their livelihood. So we thought that why not start this as a means of livelihood for them. And we started this project, and we registered it under Khadi because we wanted to take advantage of the marketing potential from the Khadi side. And we started in a small hut with a loan of 60,000 rupees with just one lady doing it, and within 6 years we have this factory of around 5,000 square feet and some fields where we have plantations of herbs. We have not compromised on the quality of our product, and even on our principles. We have not used any colors, artificial ingredients or chemicals to preservatives to increase the shelf life of the products.
With their skill as entrepreneurs and a vision to benefit the tribal communities, the Jains have found a unique way to encourage education through self-reliance. They grant employment to young girls at Neve under the condition that the money they earn will be used to further their education. In fact, 18 girls who've worked at Neve so far have saved enough money to finish their educations.
This gives a means of livelihood for the girls. They can pay their own fees for their higher studies. Most of the girls here are pursuing their BA or intermediate, and we have also made it a mandatory thing that the girls have to study.
With their heads and hearts in the right place, Neve Soaps is making a huge contribution to the small community, and they deserve a better regulatory and bureaucratic environment to take their project further. But the challenges they face are many, and one of the biggest is that of land procurement. Neve sources raw material like essential oils from different parts of the country and uses cold processing to make its products. While some of the herbs used are grown on leased land close to the factory premises, they would like to grow most of their own herbs to bring in better efficiencies while providing more employment. But this plan has hit a roadblock because of the inability to procure land in this area.
We want to get more land under natural herbal farming. We are not able to right now procure more land, but we want to set up a whole natural farming area where and we want to grow organically just the way it is already growing. So we are supplying to around 200 retail outlets within India and to more than 13 countries. We don't really export, but we are supplying to around 13 shops outside India. So there's one in Norway, 2 in Singapore, 1 in Indonesia, 2 in Japan, and 1 in Germany, 1 in UK, 1 in US also. So like that we are supplying to many countries, Malaysia also. We are also supplying our products to around 5 eco resorts, one in Coorg, one in Jaipur, one in Madhya Pradesh, and one in Tamil Nadu. Right now not needing to do much of marketing, orders just pour in on their own, and we just have to keep ensuring that we are producing on time and of highest possible quality. And since this is done by hand, since we are not utilizing any of the resources over here, so we would like some kind of support from the government for getting more land, because we are not going to pollute, we are not going to in any way harm the environment. So we want to have easy clearances from the Pollution Control Board, and that CNT Act which is inhibiting us from expanding, that we want to really get the help of government in expanding that way.
From steel to handmade soaps, Jamshedpur has already shown us completely different facets of its industry. But no visit here is complete until we get a peek into its famous powerloom and handicraft industries. Nearly 30% of Jharkhand's population belongs to tribal communities, and almost 92% of these communities reside in rural areas. While farming is the main means of livelihood for most, steady work is hard to come by, especially in the non-monsoon seasons, and most of this working population has to travel to faraway places to earn a living. That's where the handicraft industry is now playing a very crucial role. These beautiful face masks used by traditional Indian dancers, the pretty decorations that grace the walls of our houses, and these elegant mats that are made by hand are all helping weave the livelihoods of many.
ये ग्रासमेट सेंटर में यहाँ के आसपास 500 से भी ज़्यादा महिला लोग ट्रेनिंग ले चुके हैं। जिस तरह से समय देते हैं, जो प्रोडक्शन जिसे कर पाते हैं, तो उस हिसाब से कमाते हैं। 1500 से 2000, 3000 इस तरह से कमा लेते हैं।
Despite the potential to transform many more lives, the handicraft industry is facing many hardships. Raw material sourcing, transportation costs, lack of marketing, pricing power and usage of outdated technology are all big hurdles for this industry.
तो यहाँ एक ही फसल होता है जो धान है। धान में लोग 3 महीना एकदम पूरे मन मिजाज से मेहनत करते हैं, और 3 महीने के बाद बाकी 9 महीने का रोजगार, 6 महीने का रोजगार मैं अभी तक दे पाया हूँ। बाकी 3 महीना मैं अपने सेंटर को बंद रखता हूँ, केवल पूंजी के अभाव में।
In Jharkhand, everything does not move on right time, and willpower of the bureaucracy is very poor. Input of the technology, that is also vital point. This can bring lot of change, but academics, the marketing people, the people like us, the bankers, good bankers, and also the good officers should join together with the people living in the village, and then you see the change.
But the Jharkhand government seems to have taken a step in the right direction with the support it has been extending to silk handloom and women's powerloom units. Units like these are set up in old out-of-use government buildings and produce finished silk saris ready to go in a store for sale. Employing traditional weavers from surrounding villages, they provide a steady livelihood to many communities. Communities that were previously forced to work as day labourers because they lacked the funds to continue in their traditional family trade.
पहले वो महाजन के ऊपर डिपेंड थे, लेकिन झारक्राफ्ट होने के बाद जो है उनके, और हम लोग झारक्राफ्ट से ही हम लोग यहाँ पे जितने लोगों को है यहाँ पे हम लोग रोजगार उपलब्ध कराए, और घर घर में भी हम लोग लूम दिए हुए हैं। खंडामोदय एक गाँव है जहाँ घर घर में लूम दिए हुए। कुछ लोगों को स्किल जो वीवर हैं उन लोगों को अपग्रेड करने की ज़रूरत है, उसको लेटेस्ट उन लोगों को ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि बिल्डिंग में काफ़ी खर्च हो जाती है। एक बिल्डिंग में 6 लाख 7 लाख से लेके 12 लाख 15 लाख की हो जाता है खर्च। तो हम चाहेंगे जहाँ भी गवर्नमेंट का अनयूज्ड है बिल्डिंग है वहाँ पर हम लोग चालू कराएं तो अच्छा होगा। वहाँ के गांव के लोगों को भी, महिलाएं या पुरुष को भी रोज़गार मिलेगा। अधिक से अधिक लोग इसमें जो रोज़गार से जुड़े और झारखंड का एक नया पहचान बने। ऐसे भी सिल्क के मामले, तसर सिल्क के मामले में पूरे ऑल ओवर इंडिया में हमारा झारखंड सबसे सुपर नंबर 1 पे है प्रोडक्शन में। तो तसर आप कहीं भी आप स्टेट में चले जाएं, दूसरे स्टेट में, तो जितना झारखंड में तैयार होता है वो किसी स्टेट में नहीं है।
4 साल पहले हम लेबर का काम करता है, 120 रुपया कमाता था। यहाँ जब आया थोड़ा काम सीखने में थोड़ा लेट हुआ, जब पक्का सीख गया तो अभी 200-250 रुपया कमाता है। यहाँ 8 घंटा का ड्यूटी है, 8 घंटा ज़्यादा भी कमाता है तो 7 रुपया कमा लेता है। थोड़ा 4 साल से थोड़ा रुपया जमाया, थोड़ा जगह खो दिया, अभी और भी कमाएगा। थोड़ा घर बनाने पर प्लान है हमारा।
Another such initiative is the cotton handloom and powerloom training and production units that have been set up by the government. Many women trained here go on to form cooperative societies that make cotton products on these looms, earn a living and support each other. These are heartening initiatives by a state government. With the silk handloom units, they have preserved a traditional skill set of a community, and with production and training centers such as these, they are enabling women to earn their own living and support themselves.
पहले तो मैं हाउस वाइफ थी, फिर यहाँ हम ट्रेनिंग किए। ट्रेनिंग के बाद से हम 2010 से हम यहाँ काम करना शुरू किए। इसलिए शुरू किए क्योंकि मेरे 2 बेटी है, 1 बेटा है। फिर मेरे हस्बैंड फौज में थे, वो रिटायर हो चुके हैं। अभी तो पेंशन पैसा से इतना पूरा खर्चा नहीं हो पा रहा है। बड़ी वाली बेटी मेरी 2014 में MSc कंप्लीट कर ली। फिर छोटी वाली बेटी का BIT में एडमिशन के टाइम थोड़ा मेरे पैसा का प्रॉब्लम हो गया था, तो फिर यहाँ हम लोग जो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी बनाए हैं वहाँ से हम 20,000 रुपया लोन लिए। लोन लेके हम उसका एडमिशन करा लिए।
हम लोगों ने 65 महिलाओं का एक समिति बना, जो आदिवासी महिला बुनकर विकास स्वावलंबी सहकारी समिति से नाम है हम लोग का समिति का। और सरकार की तरफ से हम लोग को 4 लाख रुपये का फंड मिला, और बस वही पैसा से हम लोग धागा लेते हैं और बुनाई करते हैं और बेचते हैं।
These stories from Jharkhand have shown us just how much potential there is for change and to help create an environment for these small businesses to flourish, and how many lives can truly be transformed. In our next episode, we travel to Raipur, the capital of Chhattisgarh, in search of MSME units there and the stories that they have to share.